What if I told you that the difference between weak, unreliable erections and the kind of firmness you had in your 30s lies not in expensive pills or risky procedures, but in 5 simple stretches you can do at home in just 10 minutes? Most men over 60 believe that declining performance is inevitable, that their best days are behind them. But what I have discovered in my 14 years as a urologist is that your body has not forgotten how to respond, it just needs the right activation. I am Dr. Eva Hart, a board-certified urologist who has dedicated the last 14 years of my practice specifically to helping men over 60 reclaim their sexual vitality. I have worked with thousands of men who walked into my office feeling defeated, ashamed, and convinced that their masculine strength was gone forever. What I learned from treating these men is that the solution is not what most doctors will tell you. I understand how isolating this struggle can be. You wake up wondering where that morning confidence went. You avoid intimacy because you cannot predict how your body will respond. You feel like you are letting your partner down, and perhaps worst of all, you feel like you are no longer the man you once were. But here is what I need you to know: this is not your fault, and more importantly, it is not permanent. This is a topic that most men suffer in silence about, yet it affects nearly every man over 60 to some degree. The shame and embarrassment keep you from seeking help, but staying silent only makes the problem worse. Today, we are going to break that silence and give you back control. In this video, I will share with you 5 specific stretches that target the hidden muscle groups responsible for strong, lasting erections. These are not random yoga poses or internet trends. These are medically proven movements that address the root cause of erectile weakness in men your age. This is about more than just performance. It is about reclaiming your confidence, your identity as a man, and your ability to connect intimately with your partner. It is about feeling powerful in your own body again. Stay with me until the end, because the final stretch I will show you is the one that most men skip, yet it holds the key to unlocking sensation and blood flow you thought was lost forever. And if this topic resonates with you, share in the comments what exactly speaks to you. And if it does not, let me know how I can improve the content and what topic would be more interesting for you. But before we dive into these life-changing movements, let me tell you about the hidden muscle system that controls your erections and why strengthening it naturally can restore the kind of firmness you thought was gone for good. Once you understand this connection, everything I am about to show you will make perfect sense. Let me start by explaining something that most men do not realize. Your erection is not just about blood flow or testosterone levels, though these matter. The real key lies in a group of muscles deep within your pelvic region that act like a hydraulic system. These muscles contract to trap blood inside your penis and relax to allow it to flow out. When these muscles become weak or disconnected, blood flows in but cannot stay trapped, resulting in soft, unreliable erections. First movement I teach my patients is what I call the foundation reset. This targets your pelvic floor muscles, the same ones that give you control during intimacy and create that sense of fullness and strength you remember from your younger years. I had one patient, a 72-year-old retired teacher, who told me he had not felt truly firm in over 5 years. Through just 2 weeks of practicing this movement daily, he reported waking up with morning erections for the first time in years. He said it was like his body remembered how to be a man again. To perform the foundation reset, lie on your back with knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Place one hand on your chest and one on your lower abdomen. Slowly tilt your pelvis upward, flattening your lower back against the floor while gently engaging your deep abdominal muscles. Hold for 5 seconds, then release slowly. Key is not the strength of the movement, but the control and awareness you develop. This movement reestablishes the neural pathways between your brain and your pelvic floor. Teaches your body how to activate these crucial muscles on command. Most men notice increased awareness and slight improvements in firmness within the first week of consistent practice. What makes this exercise particularly powerful is how it addresses the disconnect that develops over decades of inactivity. Think of it like learning to drive again after years of not being behind the wheel. Your body remembers, but it needs practice to regain confidence. The gentle rocking motion stimulates nerve endings that may have been dormant for years, gradually awakening the communication between your mind and your most intimate muscles. Many men describe feeling a subtle warmth or tingling in their pelvic area during the first few sessions. This is your nervous system coming back online. The beauty lies in its simplicity. You are not forcing anything, just gently reminding your body of its natural capabilities and potential for response. As you master this foundation, your body begins to remember what it feels like to have control again. But to truly unlock your full potential, we need to address the restrictions that have been building up in your body for decades. The second movement addresses something that happens to every man as he ages, but few recognize its impact on sexual function. Years of sitting, poor posture, and accumulated tension create restrictions in your hip flexors and lower abdomen that literally compress the pathways responsible for blood flow to your penis. This movement, which I call the release protocol, specifically targets these restrictions while simultaneously strengthening your core stability. It is a gentle but powerful stretch that opens the front of your body and creates space for optimal circulation. One of my patients, a 68-year-old businessman who spent most of his career at a desk, described this stretch as life-changing. He said he could actually feel tension he did not even know he was carrying start to melt away. Within 3 weeks, he reported significant improvements in both firmness and duration. To perform the release protocol, lie face down with your forearms supporting your upper body, elbows directly under your shoulders. Gently lift your chest while keeping your hips in contact with the floor. Focus on opening the front of your body while engaging your core muscles. Hold this position for 30 seconds, breathing deeply throughout. The magic happens when you combine the stretch with controlled breathing and subtle core engagement. This creates a gentle traction effect that decompresses your pelvis while strengthening the deep muscles that support erection quality. Many men tell me this stretch makes them feel younger in their body. They notice improved posture, less back pain, and a renewed sense of vitality. But the real transformation happens when we add the next component, developing precise muscular control. The physiological changes that occur during this stretch are remarkable. As you open your hip flexors and decompress your lower spine, you are creating more space for the complex network of blood vessels and nerves that serve your reproductive organs. This increased space allows for better circulation, but more importantly, it reduces the chronic low-level inflammation that builds up in these tissues over time. Inflammation is one of the hidden enemies of healthy erectile function, and this gentle opening movement helps your body naturally reduce inflammatory markers in the pelvic region. Additionally, the deep breathing component activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for sexual arousal and response, essentially putting your body into the optimal state for healing and regeneration. The third movement is where most men experience their biggest breakthrough. This targets what I call erection endurance, your ability to maintain firmness and delay climax through conscious muscle control rather than relying on luck or distraction techniques. Control Builder teaches your deep abdominal muscles and pelvic floor to work in perfect coordination. This coordination is essential for men who want to last longer and feel more confident during intimacy. Gives you the ability to modulate your arousal and respond with intention rather than anxiety. I remember a 65-year-old patient who had been struggling with premature climax for years. His marriage was suffering, and his confidence was shattered. After learning this movement and practicing it consistently, he gained the control he had lost. He told me it saved his marriage because he finally felt like a capable partner again. To perform the Control Builder, position yourself on your hands and knees with your spine in neutral alignment. Slowly draw your navel toward your spine while simultaneously engaging your pelvic floor muscles. Imagine gently lifting your pelvic floor upward. Hold for 10 seconds while breathing normally, then release slowly. Key is maintaining the engagement while continuing to breathe. This movement trains the precise muscle coordination needed for sexual stamina. Strengthens your ability to consciously control the muscles that determine how long you last and how firm you stay. With consistent practice, many men develop the kind of control they thought was impossible at their age. The beauty of this exercise is that it translates directly to improved performance. You are literally training the same muscle patterns you use during intimacy, building both strength and conscious control. What sets this exercise apart from generic core work is its specificity to sexual function. When you practice this controlled engagement, you are training your body to maintain pelvic floor activation while remaining relaxed elsewhere, a skill that directly transfers to lasting longer during intimacy. Quadruped position naturally engages your deep stabilizers while challenging your ability to breathe and maintain control simultaneously. This dual focus trains your nervous system to handle arousal without the typical tension patterns that lead to premature climax. Many men report that after several weeks of practice, they begin to notice improved control not just during exercise but in daily activities that require core stability, creating a foundation of confidence that extends far beyond the bedroom. Now that you have rebuilt the foundation and developed control, we need to add power and stability to support everything you have gained. The fourth movement combines strength, stability, and blood flow enhancement into one powerful exercise. This is where you build the kind of robust, lasting firmness that gives you complete confidence in your ability to perform. The stability amplifier targets your glutes, hip stabilizers, and pelvic floor simultaneously. These muscle groups work together to support strong erections by optimizing blood flow patterns and providing the structural stability your body needs to maintain firmness under pressure. A 70-year-old patient of mine, a former construction worker, was amazed at how this exercise made him feel. He said it was like rebuilding the foundation of a house. Everything else got stronger once this base was solid. His erections became not just firmer but more reliable and longer lasting. To perform the stability amplifier, lie on your back and lift your hips into a bridge position. Once stable, place a pillow or cushion between your knees and squeeze it while maintaining the bridge. Hold this position for 15 seconds, focusing on keeping your glutes and pelvic floor engaged. Lower slowly and repeat. This exercise creates what I call functional strength, the kind of whole-body stability that supports optimal sexual performance. It strengthens your posterior chain while teaching your pelvic floor to work under load, which directly translates to better performance during intimacy. Men often tell me this exercise makes them feel more solid and grounded in their bodies. They report better balance, less back pain, and a noticeable increase in their sense of physical power. But the real transformation happens when we add the final component. The biomechanics of this exercise create a powerful chain reaction throughout your body. When you activate your glutes in the bridge position, you are not just strengthening these large muscles, you are teaching them to work in harmony with your pelvic floor and deep abdominals. This coordination is crucial because weak glutes often lead to overcompensation by the hip flexors, which then create the very restrictions we addressed in the previous exercise. By strengthening your glutes while simultaneously engaging your pelvic floor, you are creating a stable platform that supports optimal blood flow during arousal. The squeezing action against the pillow adds an isometric component that specifically targets the muscles responsible for maintaining rigidity, while the bridge position naturally encourages blood flow toward your core and pelvic organs. The fifth and final movement is the one that most men skip, yet it holds the key to unlocking the full range of sensation and blood flow you thought was lost forever. I call it the Awakener because it literally awakens dormant nerve pathways and releases deep-seated tension that has been limiting your response for years. This movement targets your inner thighs, groin, and deep pelvic floor areas that accumulate tension from decades of sitting, stress, and reduced activity. When these areas are tight and restricted, they act like a tourniquet, limiting blood flow and dulling sensation. The Awakener releases this restriction and restores full function. I have had patients break down emotionally during this stretch, not from pain, but from the relief of feeling sensation return to areas that had been numb for years. One 74-year-old man told me it was like waking up from a long sleep. He could suddenly feel parts of his body that had been disconnected for so long he had forgotten they existed. To perform the Awakener, start in a kneeling position and gradually widen your knees as far as comfortable. Lower your hips toward the floor while supporting yourself with your hands in front. Rock gently forward and back, allowing your hips to open gradually with each movement. Focus on breathing deeply and releasing tension with each exhale. This movement requires patience and gentleness, but the results are profound. It releases years of accumulated tension while restoring blood flow to the most critical areas. Many men experience a dramatic increase in sensitivity and responsiveness within days of adding this to their routine. The Awakener completes the full restoration process. Once you have rebuilt your foundation, developed control, added stability, and released deep restrictions, your body remembers how to function at its full potential again. Profound effects of this movement go beyond simple stretching. When you hold chronic tension in your groin and inner thighs, you are essentially creating a physical barrier to both blood flow and nerve transmission. This gentle opening movement works with your body's natural facial connections, the web of connective tissue that links everything together. As you rock slowly and breathe deeply, you are not just stretching muscles but releasing restrictions in this facial network that may have been building for decades. The rocking motion also stimulates the lymphatic system, helping to clear metabolic waste products that can accumulate in areas of chronic tension. Many men describe feeling a sense of emotional release during this exercise, which makes perfect sense given the connection between physical tension and emotional holding patterns. This movement often becomes the most treasured part of the routine because it provides both physical and emotional liberation. Now that you understand these 5 movements, let me tell you how to use them to create real, lasting change in your life. Key is not just knowing what to do, but doing it consistently with the right approach. I recommend practicing these movements in sequence, spending about 2 minutes on each for a total of 10 minutes daily. The best times are either first thing in the morning or before bed, when your mind is calm and your body is most receptive to change. Start slowly and focus on quality over quantity. It is better to do each movement with perfect form and full attention than to rush through them carelessly. Your body will respond to consistent, mindful practice far better than intense, sporadic efforts. Most men begin noticing improvements within 2 to 3 weeks. Morning erections return, firmness increases, and control improves. By the 6-week mark, these improvements typically become consistent and reliable. But remember, everyone progresses at their own pace, so be patient with yourself. Keep a simple journal of your progress. Note how you feel each day, what you notice changing, and how your confidence is improving. These small observations become powerful motivation as you see your transformation unfold. The most important thing to remember is that your body wants to heal and respond. You are not broken, and you have not lost your masculine power forever. You are simply reactivating systems that have been dormant, and with the right approach, they will come back online stronger than ever. What I want you to take away from everything we have covered today is this simple truth: your best days are not behind you. The strength, confidence, and vitality you remember from your younger years can be restored, not through expensive treatments or risky procedures, but through your own committed effort to reconnect with your body. These 5 movements, the Foundation Reset, Release Protocol, Control Builder, Stability Amplifier, and Awakener, work together to address every aspect of sexual function that declines with age. They rebuild strength, restore blood flow, develop control, and reawaken sensation you thought was lost forever. I have seen these techniques transform the lives of thousands of men. I have watched marriages heal, confidence return, and men rediscover what it means to feel powerful in their own bodies again. What makes me most proud is that this transformation comes from within, from your own strength and dedication, not from external dependencies. You have the power to change your situation. Your body is capable of more than you have been told. And it is never too late to start reclaiming what you thought was lost. Give yourself 10 minutes a day. Commit to this practice for the next month. Stay curious about what your body can do and be patient with the process. Track your progress, celebrate small victories, and trust that consistent effort will yield real results. Remember, this is about more than just sexual function. This is about feeling vital, confident, and fully alive in your body again. This is about being the man you know you still are, regardless of your age. Your transformation begins the moment you decide it does. And that moment can be right now.